Chris Bishop.
Mr Speaker, what an embarrassing last 90 minutes it has been for the New Zealand Labour Party and the opposition. The obstreperous opposition, angry Andy and angry Annette. An embarrassing last 90 minutes. They fell apart completely during question time. We had Grant Robertson there who threw his toys out of the cot and was ejected from the chamber. Mr Peters on a road to Kawa sort of experience, suddenly a new convert to bringing in refugees into New Zealand. Well, back to his usual tricks in the general debate and in question time on a long-winded rant about international students flooding New Zealand and bringing their skills and expertise and bringing their income and their wealth to our country and straight into it back into the general debate as well. Recycling jokes from the 1970s. That joke about Manuel Labour has been around since the 1970s, and that's the best he can do in 2015. It is embarrassing, Mr Speaker, absolutely embarrassing. It's no surprise his jokes come from the 1970s, Mr Speaker, because that's exactly where his economic policies come from. And then we had after Grant got thrown out, then we had David Cunliffe got up to save the day. The new chief whip of the Labour Party, David Cunliffe, got up, long, tendentious points of order. He's back, ladies and gentlemen, he's back, and we know he's back. We know he's back because the leader of the opposition, the current leader of the opposition, the temporary leader of the opposition, Andrew Little, Mr McIndoe, Andrew Little decided to take a leaf out of David Cunliffe's book and repeat a poem during his general debate speech. It was not a patch on I am Harvard, Mr Speaker. It was not a patch on David Cunliffe's magnum opus from his time as a scholar at Harvard in the 1990s, Mr Speaker, but it was a pretty good effort. It was reasonably amusing, but I've got to say, it's embarrassing that that's the best that the opposition can do one day out from the budget. One day out from Bill English's 7th budget, and all David Cunliffe can come up with is some half-rhyming poem, Mr Speaker, in the opposition. So it was a very embarrassing time. Oh, then we have old Ron Mark, who was almost thrown out of the House for a sweary mouth, ladies and gentlemen. The obstreperous opposition has had a very bad afternoon indeed. Claire Curran tweeting away about how we on this side of the House were glum. I mean, the planet Labour, the parallel universe that Claire Curran seems to spend most of her life in, ladies and gentlemen. We on the opposition backbenches were glum. Nothing could be further from the truth. This is a government and this is a party that is in good heart, Mr Speaker, and the reason for that, and the reason why the obstreperous opposition over there are so frustrated, the reason why Grant was thrown out and the reason why they are so angry over that side of the House is that they know tomorrow Bill English is going to deliver a budget that will show New Zealand is heading in the right direction. He will deliver a budget that shows we are growing at one of the fastest growth rates in the developed world. He's going to deliver a budget that shows that inflation is low, wages are rising faster than inflation, unemployment is down, and not only that, Mr Speaker, and this is very important, he is going to deliver a budget that is showing New Zealand that this government is tackling some of the intractable social problems that have bedevilled us for far too long. Tackling things like material deprivation, tackling the housing affordability problem that we have in this country, tackling entrenched welfare dependency, tackling educational disparities that exist between Maori and Pakeha and Pacifica and Maori in this country, and implementing and embedding in the government books the social investment approach that my colleague Anne Tolley and that my colleague Paula Bennett and that Bill English have been working on so hard for the last 5 years. And actually, you won't see much media commentary about that approach tomorrow, and you definitely won't see Jacinda Ardern or Carmel Sepuloni talk about it. You won't see them talk about that social investment approach. For starters, the Labour Party don't understand it, and to the extent that they do understand it, they fundamentally disagree with the idea that is at the heart, that will be at the heart of the budget tomorrow. So, Mr Speaker, this side of the government is in good heart. The opposition, Mr Speaker, are frustrated and angry, and they are frustrated and angry for a good reason, because this budget is going to be an important marking point in New Zealand's future and our history, Mr Speaker. All they have are rants and anger over that side of the House. What we have is a budget that will continue to deliver for New Zealanders.